Welcome to Roundhill Radio. Through our conversations, we discover the holy and the ordinary, look for moments of grace and peace, and redefine what we're talking about when we talk about faith. Hey, Lillian.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're back.
We are. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. We're so glad that you are joining us back here at Roundhill Radio. And we thought we would talk a little bit about the new year. And kind of like the explicit, implicit
pressure.
Under pressure. We had to. So get us started. You had some thoughts.
Yeah. So this is not at all coming from the thoughts that have been circulating my own head in my first week back. I was working last week.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the thing that was really in my mind is, in theory, I was working last week. Mm-hmm. In practice, around the holidays, there are so many things. There are people that you see for one time all year, for the first time all year. You have commitments and all of these things that make life rich that kind of come up. And even, during the holidays, you have to balance, especially when you're clergy or church associated, you have to balance these deadlines with also wanting to be in the moment with your family. And so as we have this kind of first full week of the new year, I was thinking about how we balance this desire for productivity with also kind of being present and living into the things that actually make life rich, and kind of where is this drive for productivity coming from within us.
I love everything about this, because I feel like in this new year, I get this feeling of not only that I need to be productive, but all the things I need to do should already have been done.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not even like, oh, I need to get on things. It's like, no. I'm already 3 weeks behind. Mm-hmm. Which is deeply unpleasant.
And don't you feel guilty about it?
So guilty. So guilty. And I thought I chose a religious tradition that doesn't live into guilt. Gosh. It's frustrating. So, what do we do about it, Lillian? Please guide us.
Great question. I have all the answers. and I would like to share them now. So this reminds me, one of the reasons that this topic is coming up is when I was doing my CPE, my unit of CPE, which I've probably talked about before, but for those of
mentioned
you
it once
who don't remember, that CPE is clinical pastoral education, and it's kind of a standardized internship / education where you serve as a chaplain. And one of the things that my peer group and I talked about, because you're paired with this group of peers and you all learn together, was the difference between productivity and fruitfulness. And there are some things that may be productive activities but are not fruitful activities and do not kind of fill your life with meaning.
Okay.
But also there are things on a very practical level that need to get done.
Yeah.
And so finding this balance between, I think I'm also curious of when we think about productivity, usually we are coming from a place of fear or guilt.
Okay.
Or wanting some kind of external validation. Mm-hmm. And I think that ideally, if you are balancing that with fruitfulness, a fruitfulness will kind of bring its own meaning, not just from external validation or kind of assuaging a fear or guilt.
I think there's also an element on the other side of productivity, which is sort of busyness, which is that you're not even, it's just that you're not even necessarily productive. You're just sort of an object in motion, stays in motion. Calling myself out for that one. And it feels like stepping from busyness to productivity, then to fruitfulness feels like maybe a slowing down, a pausing in a way that makes me deeply uncomfortable.
And I think it's also because there is this huge societal pressure to be so busy all the time. And there's this huge glorification of I'm so busy.
Right.
I didn't get any sleep last night. I'm just so busy. I worked 12 hours yesterday. Right. And I think especially in maybe corners of the United States that are like hyper fixated on success, saying that you're busy is such this like signal of like, oh,
it's like its own virtue.
It's this like virtue signaling of how badly you're taking care of yourself because you're sacrificing yourself for work.
Yeah.
Which isn't.
But now that you say it out
great.
loud.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it sounds like very stressful.
I heard someone say that New York is not the city that never sleeps because everyone's out partying. It's the city that never sleeps because nobody stops working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like there's that very like almost like, for lack of a better word, manic energy about this part of the country in particular, where it's just like everyone's just like blurs of light.
And I think it's also this kind of like, you know, ripple effects of the like Protestant work ethic of there's this idea of like, oh, well, you don't want to be lazy, do you?
Right.
Because the opposite of being busy is being lazy. And that would be a moral failing.
That would be a moral. Yes. Keep going.
I think maybe let's challenge and say that the opposite of being busy is being balanced.
Okay.
Work with me here. I'm exploring.
Like peaceful?
Well, I think that like there's nothing inherently wrong with having a season in your life that is busy.
Sure.
There's always going to be seasons in your life that are busy. But I think that when you are able to intentionally balance that busyness with rest, or balance that busyness with, or like harness the busyness in a way that you're not going over redundancies, or you're not using all of your energy on something that can like don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good kind of idea.
And it's like sometimes are we holding things? I know we're talking sort of in broad terms, but like I wonder if it's like because we hold things too tightly and maybe don't leave space for maybe the divine to assist and carry some of it.
And I think something that I think about sometimes is when you are so busy and when you are looking for your outer success to validate your worthiness as a person, it is because on some level, it's hard for you to accept that you might be just worthy as a person and that you might be beloved and cared for just on your own merits. And I think that the idea of kind of like, so I've kind of explored this idea of this wanting control so badly in some scriptural stories. So like the story of the manna from heaven, and the idea of like hoarding wealth as well.
Sure.
Is like, if I can be so successful that no one can touch me, I don't have to trust that God will look out for me because I can look out for myself.
Right. And I can avoid all pain and discomfort. And by the way, she laughed because I mimed a mic drop. I feel like I should explain that for audio listeners why you randomly laughed in the middle of your really epic wisdoms because I was being silly. Yes, completely yes. And I think there's that sort of idea of like trying to prevent discomfort, prevent failure, prevent unhappiness, prevent sadness through this idea of control and like doing all the things and trying to put all the pieces in place to be to make life as comfortable and avoid all the things that can be scary potentially.
And not to push anything on you, but to offer something. Like, we are also both women. And I feel like in my life, I have seen many women who are kind of solely responsible in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And there's this idea of like, oh, well, if you can just be strong enough for everyone, you will never have to rely on anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, for all people, not just women, there is this, if if I don't have to rely on anyone else, my life will be far easier.
Yeah.
Which it might be, but that also usually means that you don't allow yourself to rely on God and rely on and trust in the fact that there's a weird balance between like, oh, well, God will provide, but also you can't sit back and do nothing.
Yeah.
So there's this pressure of like, okay, no matter which way I'm going, I'm doing it wrong. I'm either like trying too hard or I'm trying not hard enough. But trying to find that balance between, and it's not something you'll ever actually find.
Sure.
But I don't know, the awareness of the fact that kind of the things that we are seeking when we are busy or when we are seeking to be productive are not always inherently moral because like a productive person is a better person.
Right.
Which I think is, I don't know, like the internet or kind of corporate culture, you see so many things of like, oh, well, you are morally superior if you get your to-do list done and if you have your spotless home and your promotion and
things
stuff
that sort of make us feel worthy when we already are. So we're sort of heading towards. I think it's interesting too. My brain is spinning because you've brought up so many great points, and I'm
yes, you talk.
Which one to go first? But it's interesting too because when we were walking, and Lillian and I both arrived at the same time in the parking lot today, and I was sharing with her that I was lovingly delighted to be back at work and lovingly delighted that my child is back in school, and I think that speaks kind of to what you were talking about. Because she was home for 2 weeks, which was great, but also like I had work to do. And I feel like I thought when I left school that I would orient my life by the like actual calendar. And no, I'm just still in this. I've been in the school calendar the entire time. It hasn't changed. And now I have a new orientation, which is where in the 2 weeks off of school does Christmas land? Because it changes how, like, where in that first week or whatever. And so last year, I think it was quite late. Like it was, she had like a full week, and I think Christmas was like towards the end of the week or something. I don't remember. But she was off for 2 weeks, and I was working for the first whole week. This year, Christmas was much earlier in that week, and so it felt like I had sort of more time around. But then my husband was working, and so it was sort of, as you were saying, it was not restful. And the fact that, as like every single parent over the past 2 weeks, my kid was sick every other day. So it wasn't like we could go out and do fun things when she's like, sounds like she's hacking up a lung because she always gets a cough when she gets sick or just on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. I'm like living in this weird space right now between feeling really happy to be back at work and then also really feeling like I'm super behind, even though I guess I'm not, because it's no different than any other year. But I feel so behind. I'm like, oh, I have to do this. And I'm like, it's going to be okay. I have a plan. My checklist has a checklist, which soothes me.
Hey, I love a checklist.
Don't come after my checklist. Ed started coming after my checklist on a podcast once, and I felt personally, and then he did it in a sermon, and I was like, bro, I almost like wadded up a piece of paper and threw it at him from the organ.
Ed, do you need to make a checklist?
I need to make a checklist to not make fun of myself. To come after my checklist said they're slightly color coded. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I find that soothing.
Yeah.
In a sense of.
And like centering
a brain dump.
Yeah.
That's for me is helpful. I wrote a newsletter for something different last week, and I wrote that memory is not a system, which thank goodness, because I would have problems.
And I think that like, it's just one of those things where it's like when everything gets in the way of enjoying everything else, something about the system is not working.
Okay. So let's talk about, now that we've sort of had I think hopefully we've all had a few moments over the past couple of weeks that were like family centered. We hit pause, one hopes,
or just silence, or quiet.
Quiet is a beautiful thing. So now that things are busier and productive focused in our culture,
new year, new me.
Oh my gosh. What? Yeah. If I dare, like, don't go on your feeds for anything because everything's like, get back to the gym. And I'm like, but what can we do to how can we choose fruitfulness? What are some, like, give me a couple ways I could, like, today, just like help is what I'm asking. Help.
I would say, unfortunately, the worst thing I can say, which is the first thing is giving yourself permission to not try to make fruitfulness into like a resolution.
That's rude. I was going to put it on my to-do list.
I feel like I should laugh less hard, farther away from the microphone.
It's a clipping. We have audio leveling. It's fine.
But because, and as much as I also want to do this, because I am very like, oh, well, I should make a new habit of this. I should, if every morning I woke up and I was quiet and I did my, journaling, or if I did this, I'm like, I'd be so much better.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd be better at or with or for, but
yeah, just better. Capital B.
I think that finding, and use a metaphor. So it's like having a stone in your pocket.
Okay.
This is my hand. a tiny stone you put in your pocket.
Got it.
Most of the time, you don't realize there's a stone in your pocket.
Okay.
It's probably, I don't know, a small enough stone that you're not like being weighted down by it all the time.
I'm following.
But every once in a while, you will put your hand in your pocket and you'll realize the stone is there.
Okay.
And in those moments in your day, when you realize that there is the stone in your pocket, allowing yourself to accept yourself for all that you are, for all that messiness that exists, for all the things that you love, and in that moment letting yourself sink deeper into the things that you love without guilt, or embrace the idea of feeling stressed but knowing that you will not become overwhelmed, and saying this is like these like moments of mindfulness, I think. Not like all the time. I mean, though, if setting a timer or having a, I don't know, gratitude practice where you like right at the end, like those are all good, wonderful ways to do this. But like,
so it's like a pause.
Yeah, maybe like giving yourself permission to find joy in the joys, and not judging yourself for being stressed or anxious, but also not letting it swallow you whole.
I think you hit on something really important, which is this idea of acceptance, because I heard a few years, that no, you can't change without accepting who you are fundamentally. So not that I'm saying we need to change, but I'm saying that like that feels like the first step to so many things. And then also just talking about accepting grace and accepting acceptance to me feels like the key to all of this. I feel like, because it's acknowledging who you are and loving yourself for it and all of the pieces, and acknowledging where you are too. Because sometimes it's like, I get sort of like, I could put my head down, I'm like working, and I don't like look up and see what I have and see what I have been given and also worked so hard for. And it's like you get those moments that just like knock you over, because you're like, holy like not to put it too clearly, but I have the life I dreamed of.
Yeah.
I have the life I was 10 years ago praying my butt off for. And it's better than I hoped it would ever be.
Mm.
And that's like, I am not understating or underselling that in a iota. And so I think, how do we then look at lives that maybe are great, but you're like, why am I working so hard? like holding them tightly.
Yeah.
Because you're like, but what if this doesn't stay? I think is also maybe an element in there too. I don't know. I'm all over the place today. Can you tell?
Because I think like working with the kind of like acceptance and acknowledging, like you don't know what is causing you pain or what is not serving you until you like think and like take that step back and allow yourself to be like, oh, I've been working my butt off for the past however many weeks. Like, I actually don't like that, or I actually don't like this part of my job, or I don't like this habit I've fallen into. But I also sometimes I'll be like driving to the grocery store and remembering being like 16 and just like wishing I had my own apartment and have my own like, and it's one of those things where I am all for, this is something else, I am all for romanticizing your life.
Oh, love that.
Like, so this also partially comes from like reading Anne of Green Gables as a child. I love that book series so much. But like sometimes when I reread it, like the thing that I love is the way that she can like take these kind of mundane things and make them more beautiful or more lovely or more loving just by like giving herself permission to see it differently.
Yeah.
And so I think that sometimes, whether it's, I don't know, changing your music playlist or like,
that's a big thing.
Or like, oh, one day I'm going to work at a cafe and I remember being in graduate school and like there were 1 or 2 days where I'd work at the cute part of the library and I'd be like,
what is it about working in like a cute part of the I always felt so, I have to tell you, because the libraries where we went to school are epic.
Yeah.
Like stunning spaces. And I always felt so deeply unworthy to be in there. I felt like
odd. Especially because you're always, it's like right before final, like you're in your sweatpants. You're kind of grungy.
But I couldn't even do that. I like not dressed.
I definitely and like sometimes rolled up into the library and I was like, it's really nice in here.
But like, because the music library is part of the big library.
Yeah.
So it was like
I worked at the Divinity School library, which most of it looks normal, but 2 rooms specifically are like really cute,
really nice.
And so it'd be like 8 a.m. I definitely had like an 8 a.m. shift. I'd be like rolling up, completely asleep. There was sorry, the background story. There was one morning that I definitely rolled up 8 a.m. I had COVID and I didn't know it.
Oh no!
And I was like,
just quietly.
I was like, yeah, I'll walk through the really nice parts of the library being like, anyone studying yet? Oh. But another way to romanticize your life.
That took a turn.
So we get different, we have different Instagram feeds because mine just gives me things that like make me want to cry. Because one of the things, for some reason, like a couple days in a row, all of the things I was seeing on my social media was like people being like, imagine you're 80 years old and you wake up in the body you have right now.
Oh.
And it's like, and it's usually like people who are like parents, so they're like, your kids are like small still, and like they come up and they greet you and like they're arguing, but like you haven't heard this sound in however many years, and then like you call your parents or like all these like little things. And so like then, I'm sitting on my couch just like
weeping.
But I think like every once in a while being able to view your life now either through the lens of a version of you that is younger,
right,
or a version of you that is older.
Well, I heard that thing, you probably saw this too, which was there's only 2 people you need to, like actual people you need to make proud. And that's your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self. I know.
And so like, just
I know.
Giving yourself permission to be like, at the base of it, there are things that matter and there are things that don't.
Yeah. I will say there is a part of me that, yes, the 8 and 8-year-old.
Yeah.
But I will not to just keep talking about my kid. But I also feel a deep urge to make her proud.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, I think I have an easier time working to make her proud than I do to make myself proud. I let myself down consistently. Like every day I manage to let myself down. But if it's something like if I frame it for her, I will do that, and I will do it like.
And it's so funny. There are so many things where it's like it is easier for a person to do them for someone else than for themselves.
Yeah, I think that's also the people pleaser in me, probably. But also there's just that it just that like
it comes to a different part of you.
It's a different part of you, and I think also when it's like your family, and it's this little person who looks at you like you're perfect, and I know that's not going to last. I'm like, I'm going to be as close to that as I can, because it's just like she started doing this thing. Oh my God. So should we put her in her like top? This is so late, and I know this, but we switched the wall of her crib. It's like the toddler bed thing. The good news is she's old enough that she's like, yeah, this makes sense. I'll stay in bed, no problem. I'm like, phew. But she started doing this thing to like delay me leaving at night. Well, she'll go, Mama, we're best friends. And I'm like, yeah, we are, babe. Yeah, we are. Sure. Fine. Which like parenting wise, I don't actually agree with. But like for her, I'm like, I'll be your best friend as long as you want me to be your best friend. Like, that's great. Fine. If that's what you want. And then she's like, I tell you everything. And then she starts telling me, then she just starts talking for the sake of talking. Yeah. Which she definitely got from me.
Because like sleeping is boring.
And she's like, I'm still there. So she's like, going. So she's like, she makes up things in her room that she wants to give me as presents, which is literally like a ball that's right there. She's like, I got you a present. It's this ball that's been in my room for 2 years. So I'm like, that tracks. Yeah. So there was a tangent to that, but it's very like trying to be worthy of that, I guess, is what it kind of feels like. So there's I'm finding like in that I find a fruitfulness that like gives meaning to the things, I don't know. I don't know if that made any sense or not.
I think it did.
Thanks. Yeah. Appreciate that. That's my story.
I think it's a good story.
This was fantastic. I really enjoyed the conversation. I like we just like Leslie and Lily therapy hour. We love this. And we're so glad to be back with you guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We hope you'll join us again here next week for Roundtail Radio, which is brought to you by the friends and members of Roundtail Community Church. For more information, please visit roundtailradio.org.